Hey guys, Alex from Scimitar Films back again with Delicious in Dungeon. Last time around we had Living Armor, where the gang encountered, living armor, and they were trying to figure out how to beat it, what was controlling it, and eventually Leos realized that there were mollusks, or mollusk-esque creatures, which is difficult to say, that were living within the armor and controlling it like muscles, basically. And he always had wanted to try living armor, and now that there was an actual creature, he could. So they killed them, fried them up, put them in a couple dishes, tried them, and found out they were okay. They weren't particularly good, but I guess they weren't bad, really. So, except for, I believe, the steamed mollusk was not very good. So yeah, that's pretty much where we left off. Ugh, excuse me. My voice is dying. It's a long day, and I'm tired. My voice is dying. I'm running out of brain juice, and I still have work to do after this video. So, like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. Let's just go ahead and jump right into this episode of Delicious in Dungeon. Here we go. Sometimes monsters really aren't monsters. I mean, if the whole thing of like, we lived on the surface, all this stuff, it's like, man, just, And this is on, like, both of them, like, just get rid of your preconceived notions, man. Well, all these years ago, the humans and the elves, they did these things. Well, all those years ago, the orcs did those things. Like, okay, but did you do those things? Were you there? Sure, there's some bad blood, but let's try to get along. Oh, my arm. Oh, both of my arms hurt. Oh. Just because they look a little different. Those orcs were persecuted. Driven into the dungeon, and everyone's trying to one-up each other. It's the Oppression Olympics out here. Just eat some food and shut up. This is an interesting episode. This is a more thought-provoking episode, I feel like. Yeah, last episode was the Can We Eat Armor episode. This one was the Are Orcs People episode. Should we be mean to the orcs episode, you know? And also just the, the whole thing of, Senshi now being, like, this critical function to the dungeon, That he's the one who cleans up these restrooms that are in the dungeon, shovels all the poop, leaves some flowers, takes it, and uses it as fertilizer. Which, I mean, on a technical level, that's pretty clever, How did those vegetables get sunlight, though? That's kind of my biggest thing with that, is, like, where do you get the sunlight? Because you need sunlight, but it does remind me a bit of The Martian, where Matt Damon's trying to grow potatoes, and he has to, like, use the freeze-dried turds of his fellow crew members to grow these potatoes and fertilize them. So, how do you get sunlight in that? I mean, there is sunlight on Mars. I don't know. It's been a few years since I watched The Martian, so I don't fully remember anyway. That was a great movie. That was a really great fucking movie, and this is a great show. So, I mean, man, that's just an incredibly clever thing of, like, you would almost think, like, I could definitely see a part of the dungeon. I mean, the fact that trees can grow is one thing, But the fact that, like I would almost suspect there could be, like, I would have almost assumed there could be a room that just has dirt and you could have a little farm there, But the fact that he's doing it on golems is really interesting, These dirt golems. And he's literally using them as walking vegetable patches. And nobody can steal them, bugs don't hurt them, because the vegetables are literally defended by the golems. That's clever, That's such an interesting thing. And whether or not it's necessarily legal because of the whole magic items and stuff, but yeah, but that's such an interesting thing, and just seeing, I like seeing, Senshi has a purpose, which it does make me wonder, like, how far this show is gonna go, like, are we going to keep going until, like, are we going to keep going until we get to the dragon and save the sister? Because, I mean, there's also, in the opening, there's so many other characters that we haven't met yet, and I'm curious when we're going to get them, when we're going to get these other characters, and at that point, do we drop off Senshi and just be like, okay, our quest is done, you helped us out, we're going to move on now, I don't know, we'll have to see. We'll have to see, but at the very least, he's good for a few months. He's good for about a month or so on these golems before they're ready to be harvested again. Which, that's also pretty great, too. The fact that, pretty much once a month he goes in and gets a fresh harvest. That's pretty good. I mean, I guess I don't know how long a true harvest lasts, but I guess the other thing is everything is in season. I guess he can do this year-round, too, because he can do this year-round because it's not like there's different seasons in this room, And they keep up their moisture levels just fine, like they never dry out. I don't know, it's an interesting concept, so. But yeah, and it's also interesting, too, because it's like, yeah, well, why don't you just do this stuff on the surface? You could have a farm, you could go hunting, you could do all these things. But it's not just that, well, he just wants to do this stuff. It's that now he has basically made himself a function of the dungeon so that, everything on this level stays the way it should be. Thus, monsters don't start encroaching on different levels where they shouldn't, then this place becomes uninhabitable. I mean, the fact that there's an entire community within this dungeon is great, Like, I really like that idea. It's very interesting. Again, like, I'm used to Zelda dungeons and stuff where it's like, yeah, you go into that dungeon and it's just you and the dungeon, But that's because in Zelda, obviously, it's a puzzle game, basically, at the end of the day. You're going through and you're dealing with all these different puzzles, and so you're doing it on your own, pretty much, most of the time on your own. Whereas here, this is more of a, it's not just a thing that you go and you conquer once and you get the treasure and stuff. It's this big, this big enthralling ecosystem, basically, which is exactly what Leo said at the beginning, if these monsters are able to eat stuff, it's like, where are they getting this stuff? Presumably there is sunlight for these foods, and for this, there's this entire ecosystem that is here, and thus humans are able to live here too, So it's just a really interesting thing, Like, how much of a world is down here in this dungeon, So yeah, and then we have the orcs. The orcs, that's another great thing about the world building, which that was sort of the thing I heard about this show, was the incredible world building that it has. And yeah, sure enough, I mean, even these orcs, like, that was really, really great. Just these, sort of lost people, like these, this group, this little community of people who they did find their own place, basically, but they have been through so much strife because of humans and elves, But they're not actually that bad. They're just doing what they can to survive, basically, And who started what? That's kind of an irrelevant question. It's who does what now, And sure enough, the orcs, they go in, they've killed people, and they've stolen their stuff, and the humans have fought back, But there comes a point where that you just can't do it anymore, You have to get along. So, and now, because, the orcs are in such a bad situation right now because of the dragon, but we're going to go and try to kill the dragon, and hopefully the orcs will be able to return to their village. So that's the thing, And literally, like, it's so interesting that this was all about, like, the main thing cooked in this one, with the orc story, was bread. That we are literally breaking bread with our enemies, essentially, And, they both have learned, through the head orc, I didn't really catch his name, but the chief orc and Marcel, is that they learn, they basically kind of backed off. They were like, yeah, both of our people have done terrible things to each other. Why do we need to keep doing this? Let's just eat some fucking bread. And then they did. So, also, by the way, I should have mentioned, it is after lunch, so I am full. I am not super hungry after watching this, although I would like to eat. But yeah, it is much later than I have normally been watching this show, but that's because I'm also recording Doctor Who now in the morning, so it is later, but it was some interesting stuff. And I mean, I like that this episode, pretty much everything in this episode was just genuine food, like the last 3 episodes have all been, food that we can make out of monsters, these ridiculous things, whereas here, pretty much everything was just a normal food, just a vegetable. I mean, it was grown in a weird place, it was grown on the back of a golem, but still, it's just a vegetable, so. But then again, you could say, well, meat is meat, whether, this bacon is bacon. Even if it's basilisk bacon, it's still bacon, So I guess there's that too. But yeah, really, really great episode. A lot of world building in this one, which I really like. I do love some good world building, man. So yeah, really, really good stuff, and I'm excited to see where we are going next time. But that is basically it. With all of that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of my Delicious and Dungeon reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.